Imagine walking alone through a sleeping city just after midnight. The streets are empty, washed clean by a light rain. A soft mist drifts across dim streets. Then, without warning, you notice a narrow alley that seems to glow. At the end of it stands an old wooden door with a faint golden light seeping through the cracks. You've passed this street 100 times, yet the door feels both new and inevitable, like something waiting for you all along. You reach for the handle. It opens. Without a sound, inside lies a library that stretches beyond sight. Shelves spiral upward until they disappear into a gentle darkness. The air is cool and smells faintly of cedar and rain. Every book hums with a quiet glow, as if it remembers a life of its own. You take one down. The title stops your breath. The Life Where You Moved to Paris. You open it and find a vivid story. Early mornings painting in a small apartment near the Seine. Conversations with people you have never met, yet somehow know. The you on these pages is alive and real, carrying a life you once almost chose. You return the book carefully and reach for another. The life where you chose the other job. You flip through chapters filled with different friendships, different cities, a different love. This is the Library of Unlived Lives. Every shelf holds a life you might have lived, every path you might have walked. You may never find this place on any map, yet you've sensed it before in late-night thoughts that begin with "what if," in sudden memories of someone you might have become. To be human is to choose. Every yes is 1,000 quiet no's. We imagine our lives as one continuous road, but in truth, they're shaped by countless hidden forks. Some choices are small: what to eat, which road to drive home. Others are enormous. Whether to leave a job, to confess love, to board a plane. And for every road we take, an infinite number remain untaken. Sometimes those quiet possibilities call to us long after the choice is made. Psychologists call this counterfactual thinking, the mind's natural habit of imagining alternative realities. Far from useless, it can help us learn, see patterns, and clarify what matters. Yet it can also create restlessness and regret if we mistake those ghost paths for lives we were supposed to live. Regret is something most of us try hard to avoid, but it carries a rare kind of wisdom. Philosopher Magnus Bohm calls it the pain of realizing one might have acted differently. Painful, yes, but pain that points toward our deepest values. We don't regret the trivial. We regret what touches the core of who we hoped to become. Think of a decision you still remember with a quiet ache. Maybe you stayed in a safe job instead of risking the unknown. Maybe you let a friendship drift away. Psychologist Daniel Pink, after studying thousands of regrets, found that most of them circle around courage, morality, or connection. We wish we had been bolder. We wish we had stayed true. We wish we had reached out to the people who mattered. These feelings hurt because they reveal what is still alive in us, qualities we still long to express. They are signals from the life we are meant to live now. But the Library of Unlived Lives is not a hall of punishment. It is a hall of insight. Every book is a lantern. Each one reveals something: creativity, boldness, compassion that can still be lived. Perhaps you once dreamed of music, but chose a different career. The book of that life isn't there to torment you. It's there to remind you that music still calls. You could pick up an instrument tomorrow. Perhaps you always wanted to travel, but stayed home for family. The desire for discovery may still be honored in ways large or small. Raina Maria Rilke once wrote, "The only journey is the one within." The books in this library are not demands to start over. They are invitations to live more fully in the present, to bring hidden desires into the life you already inhabit. There is also freedom in accepting that we cannot live every life. The writer Jorge Luis Borges imagined a garden of forking paths, where every decision creates a new universe. We are finite beings, standing in an infinite branching cosmos. No single life can contain all the roads we glimpse. Acceptance is not resignation. It is clarity. It is understanding that meaning is not found in sampling every possibility, but in inhabiting the one we have chosen with depth and love. As you stand among these glowing shelves, you realize the library is not just a gallery of lost chances. It is a mirror showing you what you value and what you can still create. You close one book, and for the first time, you notice that your own story, the life you are living, right now also glows. Half written, still unfolding. You step deeper into the library. The shelves begin to whisper not in words, but in feelings. Each row seems to hum with the lives you almost lived. One shelf carries the faint scent of salt air. You pull a book and find yourself as a marine biologist on a distant coast, rising before dawn to watch tides and dolphins. Another shelf smells of fresh ink and paper. There you are as a novelist in a small mountain cabin, living among sentences instead of meetings. Each book carries not only an alternate life, but the essence of choices, dreams pursued or postponed, risks taken or deferred. You begin to understand that these stories are not meant to lure you into regret. They are meant to remind you of the strengths you still desire to live. Wonder, courage, depth, generosity. The unlived life is not a lost life. It is a map of values, still calling to be expressed. Imagine one of your own unwritten chapters. Perhaps you once thought of moving to another country, starting over in a city, alive with art and possibility. You can almost feel the rhythm of that other life. The morning, the strange, yet familiar streets. Even if you never pack a suitcase, the longing points to something real. A hunger for discovery. A need to see the world with new eyes. That hunger can still shape your days now, by bringing more exploration into the life you already have. Or maybe you once planned to confess a love and stayed silent. That unspoken chapter might still teach you to speak more honestly in present relationships. Or maybe you dreamed of building a business, but chose stability. That dream can still inspire acts of boldness and creation right where you stand. The philosopher William James wrote of a plural self, a mind spacious enough to contain many possibilities. Within the single life you inhabit, there is room for many beginnings. Nothing prevents you from starting a painting, writing a song, or reaching out to an old friend. The library shows you that these lives are not sealed off. They are invitations waiting for a yes. But another lesson waits deeper inside. The art of acceptance. At some point, every seeker must close the book and return to the life that is truly theirs. Borges's Garden of Infinite Paths reminds us that no one can walk every road. The beauty of life is not in sampling everything. It is in loving the path you have chosen. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus offered this quiet wisdom: make the best use of what is in your power, and take the rest as it happens. Acceptance frees you from the shadow of endless possibility. It turns longing into gratitude. Instead of wishing for every book, you begin to cherish the single story that is yours. You notice the subtle wonder of the actual meal shared with a friend, the quiet of evening light, the sound of rain on your own window. This, too, is a rare path that almost didn't happen. From this perspective, regret softens. You see that every unlived life has already given you something, a hint about who you are, a lesson for the road ahead. They are not ghosts, they are guides, and they will walk beside you as you write the next pages of your present life. How can you bring this wisdom into everyday practice? Set aside time for quiet imagination. Once a week, sit without distraction and let an unlived life speak. Ask what value it reveals: creativity, courage, love, and choose a small action that honors that value now. Begin something today, however small. Write a paragraph, send a message, take a first lesson. Share these reflections with someone you trust. You will discover that everyone carries hidden chapters, and sharing them weaves unexpected closeness. These small rituals keep you open to growth without being ruled by regret. They turn the library from a place of loss into a well of creative energy. Eventually, you find yourself back at the great entrance. The golden door stands open, waiting. In your hands is a single book, the story of the life you are living. Its early chapters are fixed, but the pages ahead remain unwritten. You close the book gently, knowing that the richest meaning is not in the lives you didn't live, but in the life you are still free to shape. As you step out into the night, the city is unchanged, but you are not. You carry the library within you. Its quiet wisdom now lives in the way you speak, in the choices you make, in the love you give. This is the School of the Wise. If this journey through the Library of Unlived Lives gave you a new way to see your own story, subscribe and stay with us. Each week, we explore the deep questions of identity, choice, and meaning so you can live more fully right where you are. Share a book from your own Library of Unlived Lives in the comments. Your reflection may light the way for someone else's next chapter. Until next time, stay present, stay curious, and keep walking the quiet path toward a wiser, freer life.